Good Thursday morning. It's the main event. I'm your humble host, Stephen McCollum, and you know him as 17-year NFL veteran, 3-time Super Bowl champion for your Dallas Cowboys, and you've just intertwined that Jerry Jones is going to go run Venezuela, apparently, after that press conference yesterday. Dale Hillistrate, everybody.
Good morning, Stephen. Winter is upon us. Got the Fiesta Bowl here tonight.
Thursday night Fiesta Bowl. God bless you if you're driving across town to go to that thing.
Is this just kind of snuck up on you a little bit?
I don't know if snuck up is the word because it's January 8th, and I hate the fact they're playing these games today and tomorrow.
Yeah.
Should be done by now.
It could be done by now, but it's. I don't know,
but I agree with you. It doesn't feel like there's a game tonight, does there?
Brooke and I were out to dinner last night with another couple, and probably a group of 10. It wasn't Texas Roadhouse, so I didn't invite you. I know that's the only place you eat. So, anyway, like a group of 10 Ole Miss fans walked in.
Ole Miss is going to represent tonight,
and Brooke and the other couple were like, What? Why are there so many Ole Miss people here?
Why are we invaded by Mississippi fans?
Yeah. So, the Fiesta Bowl's tomorrow night. So
no, I agree. It doesn't feel like the Fiesta Bowl was always this grandeur game leading up to it. It's all over the news, everything, a lot of talk about it. It's like, it's tonight. Okay.
They used to, when the teams arrived, there'd be news crews out there and interviews and all that. It just seems to have lost.
You don't even have the parade right now. The parade was a week ago.
Yeah, it was. It's just the change in importance. Obviously you're playing to go to the national championship, and boy, over the last 24 hours, have I become more and more of an Ole Miss fan.
Everybody's an Ole Miss fan, Dale. That's the thing I've learned in the last couple of days is looking into this.
Yeah,
Lane Kiffin has made Ole Miss
the darling.
Yes, everybody's rooting for Ole Miss tonight.
Oh man,
just Lane Kiffin. The Michael Irvin stuff with the belt last time and all their smack talking, him and Ray Lewis and Ed Reed and all their stuff this week. The U's back and all that. It just Ole Miss is going to be a favorite big time inside that stadium tonight. Like Miami is hated going into this game across the country for all of those reasons, and it's going to be sad to watch them lose, Dale.
Well, again, I'll be cheering big time for Ole Miss, especially when you start reading all this stuff that Lane Kiffin's pulling from Baton Rouge. And this guy can coach, that guy can't coach.
He redid his image to where people like me were like, all right, Lane Kiffin's grown up and he's matured.
Bam.
Yeah.
2 weeks.
Just kidding, guys. Well, it started when he was at Ole Miss with all that. It's such a tough decision. I don't know what I want to do. And then you find out behind the scenes, he's trying to negotiate that he could do the playoff run before he goes to LSU. And it's just like, dude, you're a slime ball, man. And when I'll say this, because I just looked up what you told me before the show, because I didn't see it earlier. When a guy like Jimbo Fisher is knocking you and calling you selfish and stupid, should wake you up a little bit, because Jimbo Fisher isn't exactly the cat's meow of ethical whatever coaches you want to call it there.
Well, let me tell you the other thing that, again, I don't think I realized this till maybe 2 days ago, the fact that every game, every bonus that
LSU's paying it.
LSU is paying every bonus that Kiffin
That's
would
a smart
earn.
negotiating tactic.
No,
it's
what?
If you're LSU, why are you doing that?
Right.
I'll say this: Lane Kiffin better win, and he better win quickly. If he's got 2 losses going into October, oh my God, is this worth it?
Seriously, think about this though. I have a better chance to win national championships than LSU.
Yeah, and his team's about to win a national championship.
LSU's not in the playoff, and your school is in the semifinal.
Yeah. With a lot of their kids that would come back too next year. It's not like they lose them. They lose some to graduation and stuff, but pretty solid team there. And that's the thing. And they're winning. I know they have the new head coach there. But they're winning with Charlie Weiss Jr. as the offensive coordinator. He's probably going to leave coming up here as well, right? From that. He's going to lose a few more coaches. They're going to go over to LSU. Yeah, I just don't. It's just the weirdest thing ever, and just Ole Miss is going to get a lot of play tonight.
Yes.
In this, it's just gonna be sad to watch them lose, Dale. It's gonna be sad to watch Carson Beck and the Miami Hurricanes sweep them out to knock down all those mud huts and shacks that they live in Mississippi. That Hurricane's just gonna take them all down.
Doesn't that make you cheer more for Ole Miss?
I do. I'll say this. I want Miami to win this game. I'll just tell you right now. I think Miami's gonna win this game. But I'm gonna be watching it, going, "Come on, Ole Miss, let's see what you got."
Yeah.
I just have a bad feeling tonight, man, with Ole Miss. They didn't even know. They didn't even know who their coaches were going to be.
Right.
Going 4 days ago, 5 days ago, they were still trying to figure out if people were leaving for LSU. They did lose 2 of the coaches, and I don't care what you say. Well, yeah, but the other guys are there. Things change, though, man. Like, it's just the way you play calls, what you say to a kid on the sideline. You know, the real offensive coordinator all year, for instance. You know, I'll just give you an example. Well, you saw this with Detroit this year. When do you call a play? When somebody's getting upset or not in the motion, what do you say to them to settle down? If you don't have that voice that's been there all year, that can mess things up. I'm really intrigued by this. You know, I'm going into this. I was before going in saying Miami's definitely winning this. It's not even close. And now I'm like, I kind of want to see Ole Miss do this. This would be fun leading up to the championship game. I don't think it matters. I think Indiana's winning this championship regardless. But it's a fun little story here in Glendale. For Glendale today.
Yes.
Now they're going to play in the rain. Wear your parkas tonight, everybody. Is the roof open over there?
Wouldn't that be just like college football? You might as well. The way they screwed everything up. I mean, you got that. Obviously, I'm looking forward to watch the game, and I hope and I'll be cheering as hard for Ole Miss as I think I've cheered for any college football team in a few years.
Really?
Just to overcome all this nonsense.
I just can't root for a team from Mississippi. I'm sorry. I
what
can't
has Mississippi ever done to you?
They exist.
Wow.
They're a state.
Wow. It's just ridiculous.
They had a movie, The Blind Side, and Sandra Bullock was in it. It's one of the worst actresses I've ever seen in my life.
Whoa. What? Okay, those are fighting words.
I don't care. I'll fight over them too. I'm not afraid of it. Other than Speed, which she wasn't even the focal character, name a good movie she was in. Go. Exactly my point.
Oh no, I liked her in almost all her movies.
Exactly my point. Miss Congeniality, you probably love that one.
That was awesome.
Brought you back to your I just don't
Speed or Bob, what the movie on the bus.
Yeah, that was Speed. She wasn't even like the main character in that movie. That's why I don't even count her. Like, that's the only movie she was in where I'm like, that was great. But that was because Keanu Reeves and the bad guy. What you gonna do?
You didn't like The Blind Side?
No, I don't.
Oh.
No.
Steve, you have no nostalgia.
But it's because I knew the real story of what happened.
You did not.
No, I absolutely did.
You'd never heard of the guy.
I didn't hear of him, but I knew the story. It was nothing like that. Yeah, and when she walks out on the field, and she's like, "Hey," to the coach, she's like, "Get out of here! Get out of here! It's so stupid. That doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. Get out of here." The coach would have been like, "Lady, go sit your butt down." Miami Ole Miss tonight, Dale.
So games at 4:30 here.
5:30 our time.
Okay.
7:30 Eastern.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not going to drive across town and go.
I thought you said you were going to go.
Well, Ethan decided he didn't want to go, so now we're not going to go. I'm going to save the money. I can tell you this: you can get lower level end zone tickets for a couple $100. As of yesterday, they're dropping. Which I think I said it off air yesterday. They're dropping. They're going to drop. Because look, nobody like all of a sudden is going to wake up today in Miami and go, "Let's get to Phoenix for the game tonight."
Right. If you still have them today, you know.
Yeah, you're going to be like panicking because it's going to come down to the locals that are going to be buying those tickets to go and stuff to that effect. So they're going to drop a little bit here, even more. So I said I'd keep my eye on them. Maybe me and Adam will go out there. If I was smart, I just would have credentialed myself to go, but that would have meant I had to plan ahead or something. But yeah, no, just to drive across town to deal with it, just a headache and everything. So who do you got tonight, Miami or Ole Miss?
Oh, I got Ole Miss.
I figured you'd say that.
I gotta say Ole Miss. I mean, if you're picking against Ole Miss tonight, you have no heart.
Yes.
You're cold.
Yes, I am cold. It is cold.
You might as well be dead because you don't feel anything.
I'm dead inside and I feel nothing. Yes, you did, Dale. You just described me to a T.
Yes, that's crazy. You're going to cheer against them.
I'm going to be entertained if they can pull this off. I just think there's too much stacked against them going into tonight. Although we are dealing with NCAA refs, and watch for that phantom call late in a close game, Dale. That goes Ole Miss's way.
I just want to see how many coaches leave if they win this game before they play in the national championship.
They're getting to the point. That's the problem. That's why there was a big debate, and they didn't know who was staying and who was going.
Right.
Was they're at the point where they need to be at LSU. Transfer portal's open. They got to talk to kids. They've got to do all that stuff. They're at the point where they should be at LSU. I don't know if they win this game tonight. I don't know if all the LSU coaches going to LSU are going to leave and go. They almost have to at this point. But then that brings me to my next point. Why do you want to see a team that's decimated with the coaches leaving in a championship game just to get – look, they're getting destroyed by Indiana regardless. I'm just telling you guys right now. Watch Indiana go out and lose tomorrow night to Oregon. We'll pick that game tomorrow. But 5:30 p.m. Glendale. Look, it used to be a big thing if you had a quarterfinals matchup here in the Valley. I just feel like this is just quiet. You don't hear anybody talking about it. I was out and about the last couple days in the evening time. Nobody's going, oh my God, the Fiesta Bowl's coming up.
Yeah.
Oh my God, the Fiesta Bowl's going to be here. It's just they're killing these games, man.
But again, it's gotten to the point, kind of like the NFL, where they don't really care how many people go to the games.
Yeah, it's all
because it's the TV money.
It's the money.
Yeah. You know, and that's a shame. It definitely is a shame, but it's definitely lost its luster. But remember, the Fiesta Bowl's always been there's been a whole week buildup.
Yeah.
You know, I said, when the teams landed, there was news reports out there.
I can tell you this, it's the same thing in Atlanta, because I was listening to some Atlanta stuff yesterday with the Peach Bowl tomorrow night. It's the same feeling there.
Yeah.
It's just like, all right.
Okay. Two teams are here to play a game.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun game. Let's go see them. And number one Indiana is in town. Go see them. But it's just kind of like, oh, well, there's a game. Oh, there's a game tomorrow night? Okay. Sweet. Wouldn't that be interesting if the Cardinals made the playoffs and you have that? I think that's why this is the Thursday game when they plan this, by the way, right? Because then they could turn the stadium. I'm sorry, guys. I know. I said it with a straight face, and I apologize.
Wow.
Wouldn't that be interesting?
Wow.
Michael Bidwell. Michael Bidwell does not like the Fiesta Bowl being in this building.
You think a year ago, January, that they're talking, okay, so how are we going to schedule this? Well, the Cardinals.
Well,
and they might be playing at home that weekend.
Well, I want to know what happened to the casitas, because there are seats. They moved the casitas out. So do they push them out in the rain? Are the little homes sitting out in the rain right now?
Are they gonna be warped and smell and rotten?
Are they covered? Are there tarps over them? Protected there? Do they get hauled off to a storage unit? Did anybody driving down the 101 in the last week or so, driving down the 101 past some houses being towed someplace else?
Why would Michael Bidwell give two hoots whether the game is played there or not?
Oh, he's fought them for years.
Why?
Signage and all that. Can't cover up his signage and all that. He's fought the Fiesta Bowl committee for years.
They bring in their own field. That doesn't cost them anything.
It actually helps them because they put a new field in. Yeah. He's
well, hopefully this year
he's a jerk, Dale. I don't know what else to say. I made it clear on the show. He's not a nice human being.
Hopefully this year he's just so focused in on that new head coach hire.
I know we know somebody. Won't name him. One of our favorites, Bruce Cooper, does come in on Tuesdays. Don't forget. But we know somebody, Dale. He knows somebody. We Between the Lines folks. That's told me the stories, knockout, drag down stories between those two. Yeah. Several people close to the situation have told me multiple stories about how that goes down and stuff like that. And he sued him at one time. And yeah, that's what he does. Got to make money. And I'm Bidwell. I'm all full philanthropic. I'm for the people. Give me another award that my staff can clap for me as I walk out of my office.
Wow.
And just a just spontaneous. Everybody stands up from their desk and lines up as I walk out of my office. Oh, you guys clapping?
I think one of your former employees said that's what you used to do.
Well, that's
On your way to lunch.
It was a requirement.
On your way to lunch.
I had a button on my desk that I hit, and it dinged in the office. And they had 2 minutes to get there and line up because I was walking out of that office, and oh my God, it's just amazing. When I'd open up that door, I'd be like, Jim, what are you doing? And he's all. And I turned the corner, and there's just everybody lined up as I'm walking out. I get it, man. It's a great feeling when your employees just support you so much.
Wow.
That they spontaneously just line up outside your office, waiting for you to walk out of it to cheer you on as you go get another award for how great you are in the world. Would be fantastic. So that's going on tonight as well. Here's the thing for you. I got for you. This is funny. No, Dale takes off on Thursdays. We're back to our regular routine. You're going to go over 2 Dobson Mustangs you're going to hang out with in a row today.
Yeah, what a day.
You're going to have to go home and take a nap.
Go take a shower.
And you have to deal with that. So you leave here about 8:30 ish, and then Uncle Luke comes in at 9 o'clock today. That's the schedule, and I'll get you through from 8:30 to 9 and all of that stuff. But I was looking at this, and I found this from Yahoo Sports yesterday. I'm looking into NFL playoff stuff and things to that effect. This made me feel old, folks. I don't know how old you guys are watching out there. Dale, I'm about to make you feel old. 2 coaches going into the playoffs this weekend. I'll be put it this way. Everybody's younger than you that's a coach that's in the NFL playoffs this weekend. Everybody's younger than you. There are 2 guys that are in their 60s. There are a bunch younger than in their 60s. Jim Harbaugh is 62 years old.
Yeah, I was going to say, I played against him.
And Sean Payton's 62 years old.
Okay.
They're the oldest 2 coaches in the playoffs this year. Yeah. Let's start NFC here. Let's just break it up here as well. Let's say AFC just because we're in that. The AFC is the old man group here, Dale. This is going to make you feel old, folks. I'm warning you now. If you're older, if you're over 40, you're going to feel old. So Jim Harbaugh, Sean Payton are 62. Name the other. So you have Liam Cohen, DeMarco Ryans, Mike Vrabel, and Sean McDermott, and Mike Tomlin. Who's the next head coach in that age group going down after the 2 old men in the group, 60-year-olds?
See, Vrabel played, McDermott. I know it's not Liam Cohen.
No, yeah, he's the youngest. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. McDermott?
No, this is what's shocking to me. Well, first of all, I don't know if this is what I'm shocked about. Mike Tomlin's only 53 years old.
So he got hired.
He was young. He was
35.
He was young when he was there. Yeah, when he got hired, because that was a big deal. They didn't hire young coaches back then.
Right.
He's only 53. So I'm shocked that he's 53 years old. 2, and then he's only 53 years old. I just assumed he was in his 60s. Doesn't it feel like he's been around forever? Yeah. So he's the oldest one, not in the 60s. Mike Tomlin's 53 years old.
Okay.
McDermott's next. Since you named him, he's 51 years old.
Okay.
That's relatively young in NFL coaching circles traditionally, but obviously it's going younger. Mike Vrabel, he's older as well. I mean, you might have played against Vrabel was in the league when you were in the league, but it was like tail end, right?
I'm not sure if he was around in 2000, was he?
I don't know. He was around for a while. Well, he's 50.
Okay.
So you played 18 years, and he's 15 years behind you. He had to be in the league at that
13
point. 13
years, yeah.
So he
must have been in.
Young, rookie, maybe
late
first
90s,
year, second
came
year,
in the
something
league.
to that effect.
Yeah.
Just doing that type of math. But Mike Vrabel's 50. Yeah. DeMeco Ryans is 41 and Liam Cohen's is 40. They're younger than me coaching in the playoffs this weekend. 48. Turned 49 in a month. Liam Cohen's 40 and DeMeco Ryans is 41. I think at 40, I still didn't know what I was doing with my life. And these guys are going to the playoffs. It gets worse, folks. It gets worse. Well, it gets really worse. NFC side. That's the old man group of head coaches, Dale.
Right.
And the NFC side. Name the oldest head coach in the NFC side that's going to the playoffs. You got Matt LaFleur, Mike McDonald, Sean McVay, Ben Johnson, Nick Sirianni, Dave Canales as your coaches there. Who do you think is the oldest head coach in the playoffs right here? You can name the team too. Seahawks, Packers, if you don't.
I'd say it's either going to be
The oldest one was what we're looking for here, folks.
either Shanahan or the guy in Green Bay.
They're the two oldest going into that.
Okay.
And they're the
So I
oldest.
was right.
And they're, both of them. And they're both 46 years old.
Oh.
They're only 46 years old, folks.
By the way, Vrabel did come in the league in 1997.
Oh, yeah. So that's even even before I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, just doing the math, because you're in the league 18 years, and you're only 15 apart. That means, you got to be kind of overlapped a little bit. But yeah, 46 years old. The old men in the NFC, Matt LaFleur and Kyle Shanahan. And hopefully time hasn't passed them by this weekend.
Young man's game, Steven.
Well, that leaves you with the rest. I won't have you guess the rest. But Dave Canales with the Panthers, I mean, they hired an old man. He's 44. He's the third oldest there with the tie there. Nick Sirianni's 44 as well. But Ben Johnson's 39. Sean McVay, he was super young when he was hired, but he's 39 only right now.
What's he been there, 8 years?
Yeah, 9 years, I think. Yeah. Then Mike McDonald up there in Seahawks land, 38 years old. So if you're over 40 and watching football this weekend, yeah, your kids are coaching football. Dale, they're old enough to be your kid.
They could.
You could have a kid coaching NFL playoff game this weekend.
Yes.
Remember the old days, man, when it was just like that? The guy basically was walking out with a rocker to get out there to coach on the sideline.
That's
those
crazy.
days. Those days are gone,
Yeah.
man. Those
It's a young
days
man's
are
game,
gone.
Steven.
How would you like to be Jim Harbaugh? Well, what spurred me to kind of think about that, and then I saw it on Yahoo, was, John Harbaugh. Like, I'm like, God, he's in his 60s. John Harbaugh looks like he's young.
Is he older or younger than?
I think he's
Jim.
63, so I think he's older.
Okay.
Because people, this is what I love about I love about fans. It actually makes me laugh. Like, I'm not kidding. Like, I put this out on Twitter yesterday. Like, yesterday I was like just hungry, but I just wanted a cheap snack. I didn't want to, like a full meal or something that'll fill me up. So I was like, I'll just run through Taco Bell. And I was like, no, their soft tacos were expensive last time I was there. And it's been months since I've been there. I spent like $11 for like 3 soft tacos and a drink one time and I'm like, and it was gross. There was nothing in it. It was mostly tortilla. And then it tasted like dirt. The lettuce tastes like dirt. It was just disgusting. Not worth the price is what I mean. If those were 50-cent tacos, I'd eat them all day long. But not at $2, Dale. So yesterday I'm driving down, and I literally, in my mind, went, I'm not paying that much, it's not that it's a ton of money. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is the value for the $1.99 isn't there. So I was like, I'd rather starve. I'll go to Quick Trip and get some Reese's Pieces or something. Shove those in my face. At least I'll enjoy those, and they don't taste like dirt. Anyway, I digress. So I'm sitting there thinking that. And then I load up my Twitter page yesterday. Separately. I get home, load up my Twitter page. I might have to do a house remodel coming up because I have a giant leak from my bathroom coming into my downstairs right now. Wasn't there before we went on vacation. And now I got this giant leak coming down into my living room.
At your house?
In my house, yeah.
Ooh.
So Riley came over yesterday, Daybreak Services, and we had to cut the roof open and look and see. And I got a plumber coming. I'm just going to burn the house down at this point. Anyway, I digress again. Dale would have sold the house by now. I'm gonna see if I can fix it, but I'm gonna have to do a bathroom remodel now. Like, all the worst things go through your head. So I'm sitting there and I load up my Twitter.
Is this why you're eating your recess? Or
I eat those on the car.
Okay.
I ate those on the car on the way to my daughter's orthodontist appointment. There's nothing like eating Reese's Pieces on your way to an orthodontist appointment. Hey, it wasn't for me. But I'm sitting, I pull up my Twitter feed, and there's just all these people on Twitter yesterday. Kyle Odegaard, like media people, including just fans out there and other people. And they're just like, oh, Cardinals need to offer 5 years, $150 million for John Harbaugh. He made $18 million in Baltimore. He was the second highest paid coach. Somebody else out there makes $20 million.
Andy Reid, maybe?
Andy Reid. They're the highest two paid out there in the league.
Okay.
And these people are like, oh, 5 years, $125 million is what they need to make Harbaugh come here. And I literally saw trends like that. Oh, 4 years, $100 million. And I'm just sitting there and they're like, he has to show to us fan base what it means to win and how much he wants to win here. So he's got to pay more than everybody else to get a coach here. And then you saw this stuff like, oh, it doesn't count against the salary cap, so you can do whatever. And I'm sitting there thinking, I didn't go to Taco Bell. I can afford soft tacos at Taco Bell, folks. I promise you that. And I didn't go to Taco Bell because it wasn't worth it. What are we doing spending Michael Bidwell's $125 million for 5 years for a coach? What are we doing now? And my favorite part is, I'm not in Michael Bidwell's category, Dale. Dale is. With that NFL pension.
Yeah.
But I'm not. But my favorite part is sitting on the couch at home. Oh, show how much you love me by spending $125 million of your money. It's nothing to you. It makes me laugh, Dale. Just the way people spend other people's money.
Well, the one thing about it is, that's obviously very ridiculous. But the thing is, the truth of the matter is, the Cardinals probably have to pay a tax.
Well, what people don't understand is, like, if you break it down, his franchise is worth $1.4 billion.
Yeah.
He doesn't own the whole franchise. There's minority partners and stuff like that, and he doesn't have $1.4 billion just laying around, folks. It's wrapped up into the franchise.
Right.
He's got expenses, things to that effect. That's partly why he doesn't spend like he does, is because his lifestyle is important to him, and he has to be paid an extra amount and stuff like that.
And his family.
And his family. And all of that. But that's 10% of his net worth. I've been a boss. I am a boss. You're not going to pay somebody 10% of your company's income.
Well, is that 10%, 20, if you pay him $20 million?
Yeah. That's the going rate for a coach like John Harbaugh, $20 million. But no, this is my point though. So $20 million is the going rate for him.
Right.
And people are like, $25 million a year. Give him $25 million a year. Make him come here for $25 million a year. Do you want to hire a coach that comes just for the money? Haven't we done that before?
Have we?
Well, Danny Green made that was the first like big paycheck.
I'm just thinking, like, when you're a more-bound franchise and you're going to try and get somebody established with somebody instead of somebody, wet behind the ears.
Yes. Cheap, let's just say it, cheaper.
Yeah. I think you do have to pay a tax to get them to come to a place like this.
I don't disagree.
But to pay 20, no, that's silly.
So it does crack me up.
Yeah.
But these are established media people, fans out there, just throwing out numbers. You might be able to get Harbaugh for $18 or $19 million. What he was making in Baltimore. Because his cost of living's cheaper and stuff to that effect. And people are just like, just offer him $125 million for 4 years. It's just nice to. And I'm sitting there, and it just hit me because I was just sitting there, literally in my mind, going, I'm not spending $2 on a soft Taco Bell. It ain't worth it. It just made me laugh.
Oh, Steven. Well, before I get out of here, how would you like to be Trae Young?
Yeah. First of all, who did he piss off in his life?
Jeez,
Four-time All-Star from the he went to a worse team. Superstars get traded to better teams.
But
folks.
he wanted to go to Washington.
He did. That's what I don't get either.
Well,
This is what I don't get either. Does he have a desire to win?
it doesn't sound like it. Does not sound
I
like
saw
it.
a meme today where it was Washington when Trae Young said he was their destination, and it's literally like a guy going.
Us?
Also, Flash Gordon texted, and I'll talk a little bit more about that, but yeah, I don't. That just tells me Trae Young's anti-competitive in this league.
And did it in the middle of a game.
Yeah, that's the weird thing.
That's what showed that. Like, left the bench.
He had to. Once the trade's
Yeah.
announced, you have to go. You're not part of that team anymore. He had to go get his stuff and leave. He couldn't hang out in the locker room. They literally had to escort him out.
You couldn't have said before the game, hey, we're pretty close on this deal.
Yeah, you're gonna sit out this game. You're gonna be in street clothes or whatever, or don't come to the arena. Well, I have that problem with baseball. Like, you're trading the guy, but you still put him out there and play, and you got to pull him out. Like, just
Yeah, that's crazy.
sit him in the back. But Flash Gordon says, "Holy cow, Dale! Your senior year was in 1980. I didn't realize you were that old." After yesterday when you said that.
Long time ago. Well,
And
that and then, and I know we can probably get into this more, but boy, oh boy, this Sam Levitt thing is continuing to be.
Well, what's the
super
update?
intriguing.
Just quickly, what's the update?
Well, it just continues on.
Yeah. Did you see that meme yesterday? There's like a picture out there. I saw a bunch of people retweet it, and it was like LSU is all crossed off his tour or whatever,
Right.
and it's like Tennessee, and then like down at the bottom he's got like Oregon, because Oregon's quarterback when they lose is declaring for the draft, so Oregon could be in the portal looking
Right.
for a quarterback, and so it was Oregon, and it was like depending on declaration or whatever, and then at the bottom it was Washington. Pending litigation.
Just crazy.
It just I think we're monumentally seeing a kid that is royally from like you said. This isn't just a kid that came here and played, had some success, the fans like him, sucks he's leaving. This is a kid that could have been a god here.
Yeah.
And he's burned that bridge. If he ever came back here and played, I'd be like, I hope you get the snot beat out of you, kid.
I think that he was probably. I think at some point, hopefully, we'll find out. But I think he was probably more asked to leave than him
Well,
saying,
that has
"I'm
to
gonna
be
leave."
because if you were going to leave, wouldn't you kind of swallow some pride a little bit and be like, hey, any chance? I'll come back for 500,000. What can you guys do for me?
Yeah.
But that's what tells you, because if ASU thought if ASU wanted him back, you'd be reaching out to him right now. And if they're not doing that bridge was burned.
Yeah.
It comes from the ASU side, is what I would argue.
Yep.
With you, if we have to speculate that. Dale, get out of here. And Braxton, I see your tweet in there. Yeah, we're not talking about that. It's politics, man. We don't do that stuff around here.
Ooh. Do that after I leave, Steve.
I ain't doing that on this program. We can do that later on a different program. We'll make a political show, Dale. Dale's Politics coming your way. Go have fun over there with the boys. Tell them I said hello.
Your buddy.
I'll tell them I'll text them later. You don't have to. I'll gotta text them later. Otherwise, you're just gonna show up around here and want to hang out with me again. Unexpected.
Oh.
John, I'm busy. Have fun over there. Local Lou's coming up at 9 o'clock. We'll talk a little more of the Trae Young. Suns won last night as well. Blowout fashion over Memphis. Get you updated on the college ranks and stuff like that. And I have ratings. Interesting enough for the NFL. Come on back, folks. Main event. And we're back here. Main event Thursdays. Uncle Lou's coming up at 9 o'clock in studio. Obviously, we have playoff football this weekend we're going to get into. We're still a couple weeks away from the new UFC season to kick off. I think it's January 23rd or 24th, that time frame. Paramount Plus now coming up for that, so no more pay-per-views on the UFC side. So we're still a few weeks away there coming our way. Robert chimed in as well and says, Robert, at TME Sports Show, by the way, don't forget, text us 623-252-6670, like Braxton, like Flash Gordon did yesterday after the program. And you listen to it, you can text us anytime, right, that you're watching. It's either on demand, well, live, of course, on demand here at Robat TV if you're watching the YouTube or the free podcast system later on in the day, 11 p.m. at night, 2 a.m., 5 a.m., text it in. We see them, we talk about them, and we have some fun with that stuff out there. And Robert chimes in at TME Sports Show. Does Bidwell hate the Fiesta Bowl because it isn't making any money off of it? So I looked it up during the break because I wanted to be factually accurate on this and everything. And I'll get to your miscongeniality one here in a second, Robert. But okay, so the relationship has improved. But I know, like at ASU, for instance, there's a lot of lawsuits flying around, stuff like that with the negotiations over things like luxury boxes. So when the new stadium came up, basically stadium control of the Fiesta Bowl and what they can do, what they can't do. How, can they cover up signage? Can they not cover up signage? You guys, obviously Bidwell makes money with signage in that building. That is, there's still renters in there, but it's technically his building, right? So back in the early 2000s, Bidwell was negotiating things with the Fiesta Bowl over stadium usage, luxury box control, revenue sharing, for this new Cardinal Stadium that, of course, is now State Farm Stadium and stuff to that effect. So there's a lot of deals on it. They say there's mutual respect now. They say they want to work together, at least publicly. I have heard otherwise behind the scenes. But it's all been settled now and things to that effect. But, yeah, basically, he wanted to make more money off the Fiesta Bowl using that building. Is what the lawsuit was and what the kind of the fight was and things to that effect. So, they say it's cleared up. Believe it if you want to. I don't know. It's one bowl game. It's for charities here, and he's arguing all that. Well, I want luxury. I want money for luxury suites in my stadium for the Fiesta Bowl and stuff to that effect. I don't know. It supports the charities and stuff like that, but whatever. You guys know my feelings about it. I'm sure he's a nice guy. Tonight, Fiesta Bowl, of course, me and Dale talked about that. I got Miami and I got Ole Miss, and he's got Ole Miss. Ole Miss is definitely the country's favorite here coming up into this game tonight. I do think Miami's going to end up winning it. But I'm not going to lie to you. A little part of me wants to see Ole Miss do it as well. My only problem with Ole Miss winning is they're going to lose the remaining coaches to LSU that are going to LSU if they win this game because they have to get there. They were almost there this week until they changed them. A couple of them changed their mind as well. Robert does say, we were talking Sandra Bullock earlier. Dale apparently loves her. I do not. And Dale says, Miss Congeniality had one of the best lines in movie history by Michael Caine. Yeah, that's my point, though. The best lines of her movies are from other people. Give me one good line from Sandra Bullock in a movie and delivered properly. Yeah, he goes, Michael, I can't do a British impression. I'm going to try, though. Eyebrows. There should be two. Horrible British accent. Nailed the line, though. Nailed the line there as well. Yeah, it's kind of stiff acting. Like, that's my problem with The Blind Side. Like when she was yelling at the coach on the field, not yelling at him, but going, I was just like, I would just stare at you funny if you said it in that way to me, But anyway, my own problems. We do have breaking news. Robert did hit us with this and everything. Interesting development. I told Dale this as he was walking out of the studio here. We talked about this where I brought up John Harbaugh is available now, obviously, as of, Tuesday? And I said it's going to be interesting to see who fires the coach because John Harbaugh is available, who who doesn't hire a coach because John Harbaugh's available. They put off, I'm not saying they had somebody in mind, but let's say a team was interviewing some people and they liked one guy. Well, that guy's going to be put on hold if there's a chance you can get John Harbaugh and you explore that opportunity, right? Then yesterday, then Harbaugh, within 45 minutes of the word coming out that he got released, I think it was Adam Schefter, said 7 teams had reached out to John Harbaugh's agent. There was only 6 availabilities. So there's speculation. All right, who has a coach? Yesterday, it was confirmed. It was the Miami Dolphins. Well, Miami Dolphins were a team, at least, that reached out to Harbaugh's agent to inquire about it. That came out yesterday, publicly. Well, now this morning, Dolphins have fired coach Mike McDaniel. Mike McDaniel was safe until Harbaugh became available, folks. Watch Harbaugh to Miami. Stephen Ross has money. Stephen Ross likes to make splashes. Stephen Ross likes, I don't know if you make this move if you don't think you can get Harbaugh when you were fine with him being there. He was safe until Harbaugh became available. So interesting enough. Keep that eye in mind, John Harbaugh fans. Folks, he's not coming to Arizona. He's just not. Too much money, 1. Going to command too much power, 2. He's going to want to be in control of stuff. Monty's here. Bidwell likes to be involved. He's not coming here for those 2 reasons. Forget about all the other reasons out there. Just not. You don't have a quarterback. This is a bigger rebuild. Stuff to that effect. Robert does say, fans and children love to spend other people's money. I'm guilty myself. No, I get it. No, I get it. Like, everybody does that stuff, But the reason why I'm making the big comments about the John Harbaugh side of things, where Harbaugh, everybody's harping on, this is what because they're literally phrasing it as, Bidwell says he wants to win, prove it to us. 5 years, $150 million to Harbaugh. Prove to us how much you want to win. It's like, whoa. I have zero faith, and I played that clip for you yesterday, where in that press conference, Michael Bidwell said, we'll spend whatever it takes to get the right coach in here, but the biggest name doesn't equate the right coach for here. And I told you my worries about John Harbaugh. I'm alone in this. I'm not sure about it. I'm not alone in it. Other people are on the other side of things of it on me. I'm just really weary of a guy that was in one spot for 18 years and changing teams. It doesn't work out that often. Then you have an owner that doesn't want to spend that kind of money, an owner that doesn't want to give up that type of power. You've got all that stuff. There's a reason Sean Payton didn't come here when he was available, and he went to Denver instead. John Harbaugh is going to be very similar to that Sean Payton role of things. Stephen Ross in Miami, he'll let they fired their GM already. He'll let John Harbaugh cook there. He'll let him pick the groceries, cook, all that stuff. There's a reason you don't get those level coaches here in Arizona. And it's not going to change with John Harbaugh now as well coming up from that side. So that is breaking news. That is something to watch now. Harbaugh to the Dolphins. I think that does become kind of a favorite. It'll be interesting to see if they don't get John Harbaugh, what they pivot to, and from that perspective as well. The Dolphins did put out a statement 4 minutes ago, just popped up, from, of course, owner, chairman, Stephen Ross there in Miami. Quote, after careful evaluation and extensive discussions since the season ended, I have made the decision that our organization is in need of a comprehensive change. I informed Mike McDaniel this morning that he has been relieved of his duties as head coach. I love Mike, and I want to thank him for his hard work, commitment, and the energy he brought to our organization. Mike is an incredibly creative football mind whose passion for the game and his players was evident every day. I wish him and his family the best moving forward. That's what the statement said. The part that was deleted was, and I can get a better coach in here, in John Harbaugh. His people deleted that part of his statement as well from that side. So it's Thursday, and you're firing McDaniel today, and you were unsure before. Something changed. Something changed, and it's Harbaugh being available is what changed. And they've had conversations with his agent, so they know if there's a realistic chance to get Harbaugh or not. If Harbaugh just came out and was like, "No, I'm not going there," period, end of story. You might not fire Mike McDaniel at that point, or, if it says I'm not going there and stuff to that effect. So I don't know, just fascinating move there as well. Other things happening around sports, just to get you updated. Suns, of course, blew out the Memphis last night. No shocker. It was nice to see the Suns play the way they did. Memphis struggles. Memphis doesn't have the talent the Suns do or the heart. So it was a big blowout game for them last night as well. So Suns road trip does continue. The Trae Young to Washington. My opinion on Trae Young has changed here with this move. And this might be harsh. But, hey, we're an opinion host here, right? Trae Young doesn't want to win. I don't know. Trae Young, does he have family in Washington? I'm not going to knock a player that wants to go back home or something to that effect. But to go from a team in Atlanta where they're not winning a ton, they're 18-21. And then say you want to go to Washington with 10 wins and you're a 4-time All-Star. Everybody would love to have you on their team because I'm going to call him a superstar, but you're at least in that stratosphere where you can name where you want to go, and you chose Washington. Something to keep an eye on here with Trae Young as well. I always liked him as a young superstar and a sharpshooter. He just needed help and things to that effect, and it's almost like he's just turning his back on it. Washington has 10 wins this year, folks. They're not good. They're 10-26. So it'll be interesting to see where it moves from there. But does Trae Young just become one of those really, really, really good players / superstar players to just have a mediocre career based off of what he's done and what he's saying and all of that stuff out there? ASU men's basketball did lose last night. Now 104-76. Yeah, they were at BYU, and BYU is a really good team, ranked 9th in the country. Young freshman, that is unbelievable for them. Watched some of that game last night. It was just ASU's not at that talent level. ASU's not at the top of the country talent level. They're 9-6 on the season now, 0-2 in the Big 12. Lost to BYU last night. I don't remember who their first loss was to be honest with you. But they're 0-2 now going into this conference. They've lost 4 in a row now, Arizona State Devils have. 4 in a row losses. They're 4-3 at home, 1-2 on the road. I said they were going to be probably middle of the pack Big 12 team. I said it last year as well, and they weren't. They were toward the bottom. They were picked to be dead last in this conference this year. Well, they're 4th from the bottom right now. Kansas State, Cincinnati, and Utah are all below them. But they're all 0-2 in the conference. But everybody's 8-7 overall, 9-6 and 10-4. The groups with them. Baylor's 0-2. Kansas State's 0-2, Cincinnati's 0-2, and Utah's 0-2 as well in the conference. So, interesting dynamic there. How bad is this going to get for Bobby Hurley and this ASU team is the question coming up for them. ASU women's team, yes, they're coming off that loss for the first loss they've had all season in the conference play. They did win yesterday versus UCF there over at DFA Arena, the Bank. 68-45 win for them. So that makes them 16-1 in the year, 3-1 in the Big 12 for ASU women's basketball. Arizona men's did win down there in Tucson against Kansas State. That makes the Kansas State 0-2 as well. They are 15-0, of course, number 1 team in the country, 2-0 in the Big 12 for Arizona men's basketball as well. This team is dominant. Now, the big question is, right, are they the best team in the country, or is Michigan the best team in the country? Because they seem to be 1-2 in a lot of the talk out there going forward. GCU men's basketball, played Boise State up at Boise State last night. Late tip-off for that one. But we like to give them a little bit of love. They did win 75-58. They're 9-6 on the season as well and 2-1. So, in their conference. And remember, they're in the Mountain West this year. So they're 9-6. GCU. This is interesting to me. 9-6. ASU's 9-6 as well. Well, ASU's fourth from the bottom, in ties, in their conference. GCU at 9-6 also for the Mountain West. They're in fifth place in their conference, 2-1. Obviously it comes down to conference records and stuff like that. But conference competition matters in terms of where your ranking is and where you stand from that side of things. I told you I was going to talk a little bit of NFL rankings. Is Uncle Lou's coming up here at the top of the hour as well. We went through the coaches, the age of the coaches for this weekend's playoff games, and I'm just floored at how young everybody is and things to that effect out there. I got to pull it up here. I apologize here, folks. Let me pull up the ratings here as I thought I had it on the right page, but I do not. By the way, Yahoo did a mock draft as well. Obviously, they have Mendoza 1, Dante Moore 2, the two quarterbacks, because Dante Moore is going to declare after Oregon gets deleted. But they have linebacker from Ohio State, Arvell Reese, coming to the Cardinals. I told you I don't like picking an offensive lineman at number 3. When we talked about that earlier, ESPN had an offensive lineman. I don't know if I like a linebacker at number 3 either. Eesh. Got to trade down, but you got to have a trade partner as well. That's part of the problem that you have to deal with, from that perspective. And I apologize, guys. I do not have that readings up here pulled up like I thought I did. Let me scroll through this. Just I know we're live and we're going here. I feel like the CBS News reporter on his first show the other night, where that did not go well. If you watched that guy was, "Are we doing this? Are we doing that? What are we doing? What are we doing?" It's kind of a embarrassing thing to see. Okay, NFL games. They average 18.7 million viewers for the season in the fall time. It's the league's most watched season since 1989. It marked a 7% jump from just last year. Games them averaged 17.5 million viewers last year. I don't have the numbers on this. I tried to figure it out. I looked into it. I don't even know how you look it up. I was just asking questions to the computers, and maybe they tell me. Last year, a big jump. This year, 7% jump. Last couple of years, they've had Friday night games at the beginning of the season. Next year, I think, is the first year where you can't because of that law that's out there. But also, what are they also added? Christmas Day games. Last year, they had one Christmas Day game. This year, they had 3. Well, they have 2 last year. But anyway, they added a game this year. You have games. You had the Black Friday game, a standalone game. Are those the games that are bringing that viewership up? Is that why we're seeing this 7% jump from last year? Or is it the regular season Sunday games are also up? Fascinating enough as we delve into that. And I don't know, maybe we'll have to wait and see those numbers come out. But I suspect, and I'm guessing, I did not stay at a Holiday Inn last night, but I am guessing the Black Friday game standalone kind of bumps it up. The extra Christmas games this year when there's nothing else on but NBA, pushing those numbers up as well, because they didn't have Christmas games until last year. So just something to keep in mind for those of you that don't like the streaming platforms, for those of you that don't like these extra games on these holidays and stuff to that effect. There's a reason they do it, and it's a 7% increase. Did you just flip off the NFL? Is that what you just did, Lou?
No, I said for those that don't like it. Are NBA fans, and NBA fans can go jump in a lake.
I think the NBA fans were watching the NFL. I saw the breakdown of the ratings between the two. I couldn't find it. And the NFL it blows the NBA out of the water. It's not even close.
Love it.
And it's on those Christmas Day games and everything. So when we come back, you hear him. He's in the house. Uncle Lou's back in studio after the holidays where he was coming in and everything. We got NFL playoffs coming up this weekend. Let's get into it with him. Come on back, folks. Second hour main event coming up next. Welcome back. Main event, second hour on Thursdays. Back to our regular schedule. Look, Lou's in his house again. He's back to his regular schedule there. He's in the building now as well. It's always a good time here. Of course, I'm your humble host, Stephen McCollum. Dale Hillistry's off doing his other hit. It's all right. We got better stuff here, better talent here right now with Uncle Lou. How you doing, Lou?
I'm doing great. Happy New Year, everybody. It's really a great time of year for so many reasons. The playoffs, NFL playoffs, I got all kinds of advice for everybody. You can take it or you can throw it in the trash can, but I'm going to distribute it nonetheless.
Exactly, right? Oh, man, like you got a different skin complexion than Dale has because you're brighter on that camera than Dale was there. So I
don't play golf every week. I maybe don't have the tan. I've been dealing with contractors, punch lists, and everything else.
You got all that stress happening and everything. We'll see if Kobe can get over here and kind of darken that up a little bit. If not, don't worry about it, Kobe. I don't know what he's doing in the production room over there.
I'm just happy for the red background. My bricks are back.
It doesn't look terrible. Yeah, exactly. I know. We could have got you something at the. I didn't even think about that the last couple of weeks. We could have got you a green screen and put it in there for you and everything to make you feel normal. But before we get started here, of course, how was your New Year's?
Honestly, I had this crud. You know, I came back from a funeral in Omaha in November with the flu, and then darn near about the time I kicked the flu, Steve, this the phlegmy, coldy coffee thing kind of came on
here
me.
It's going around.
It's funny. It seems every December something goes haywire with my health.
Yeah.
Cold, flu, whatever.
Well, stress, all that stress of your cooking and Christmas and
I don't,
Thanksgiving, all the stuff you do, because you stress me out with how busy you are with that.
I think it's because off air I live pretty hard.
Thanks, Kobe.
And
look at that. You're dark now.
Holy moly.
You look like an Italian.
Yes,
look at that.
Sir. I love it. Kobe's the man.
Yeah, we're back. We're back. Everybody's back at school, you know, and everything. So we're back to just Kobe running the show, and he's great. He runs around and takes care of everything for us, and all of that stuff. So, but yeah, no, I give you a hard time because you know you're busy with all your cooking and stuff. So I give you a hard time with that. But now you're doing the punch list at the house, which is stressful in itself because you know, I've never remodeled a house, but I've been in the construction industry for a lot of years, and you know, it's always funny because like you're like, oh, everything looks great. Like a week later, you're like, wait, what's this? I gotta call him about that. And then a week later, you're like, oh, what's this? You gotta. You just notice stuff over time.
I had William Brazelton, the best architect in the city, was our architect, come and do the walkthrough for us to make the punch list. Mm-hmm. Not only did he see things that I couldn't see, but he was able to provide the correct terminology so I could express myself correctly to the contractors. But I can tell you the punch list is stressful. Yeah, maybe a little bit, but not as stressful as living out on Cactus and El Mirage coming in. So, hey, I'm counting my blessings in every way. I feel good. We're in the playoffs, and we're ready to rock.
Now, I call it your home office, but with your TVs, are you ready for this weekend in the NFL is the big question.
Yeah, actually, my wife is such a champ. She was able to set us up so that our internet service was providing us access to both places. So the last couple of weeks, I've actually been doing it from my house, our remotes.
Yes.
And so technology and everything is fluid. My TVs are good. We got a 100-incher in the and I've been looking at these small TVs for 7 months, and now to be in my gosh, there's just so many things, and sometimes you don't know what you got till it's gone.
No, that's the problem. But during the holidays, me and my daughter were at Best Buy just walking around and looking at stuff, and we were walked by the TV section, and she goes, "Who the heck needs a 100-inch TV?" I know, and I instantly thought of you.
Yes.
I was all like, I know one person that does.
Well, a 54 is in the Gamblu man cave. The 100 is currently in our family room. She's trying to decide if she's going to keep that in the family room where it's kind of large for her.
That's what I'm saying. You have to have room, though, to watch it, right? So it's got to be in a bigger room.
You do. And I mean, our room's big enough, but I mean, that picture is so amazing. She may put it in the outside in the indoor-outdoor room and then get another TV for this room. But I can tell you that as long as the plumbing lines and the structure was fine, the color of the tile and where she puts TVs ain't Uncle Louie's deal.
Yeah, that's her
Mama.
deal.
She's running the show.
Who handled the kitchen, though, is the question. I know she handled the bathroom, I'm sure.
The kitchen was untouched. We got a new gas
Oh,
range.
you just got the new stuff.
Yeah, I can tell you. You want to go buy gas ranges and refrigerators? This Joint Stewart's appliance, pretty good operation, man. Anyway, you've got a brand new gas range, got a brand new refrigerator. Getting a new faucet for my sink on Saturday because I got a little leak. But my kitchen was really untouched. It was the first thing that was completely sterile and set up so that even though I had to make our Christmas
Yes,
Eve
you
and
guys could
Christmas
eat in
food out there, we moved it in and were able to eat from the kitchen.
Yeah,
And-
that's great. It's good to
Yeah.
hear you finally getting relaxed in there and all of that stuff. So,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
and everything. So, beginning of the year, let's set it up straight and everything for people. A lot of people tune in when you're on, whether through the podcast, the free podcast, YouTube views, Robat here at Robat TV as well. But for new people, we're still a couple weeks away, of course, from the UFC kicking off again this year. But tell everybody where they can find you, what you support, how you're changing your stuff again this year. No paywall this year, folks. Lou will talk about that. So let's get that out there for everybody tuning in after the holidays.
Yeah, so 2026, and it's shortly, I'll give an update of 2025 results. That'll be on the blog. This week's blog talks about Wild Card Weekend, and the blogs will continue to be up to date and discuss what's coming up in the NFL. The web page is there. If you want to find out about me, Lou Finicaro, I go by Twitter handle Gamblu, and you can access everything about me on the Gamblu.com webpage. Kobe's scrolling through. You can see how the webpage looks. The top band on the webpage really gives you all the information you need, testimonials, About Business podcasts, NFL consulting. The sports I work are listed there. The most important tab that Steve always really leads me like a horse to water in before we get started here is that San Xavier mission. I'm a huge proponent of the San Xavier mission. Gamblu as an entity supports it regularly. We did it in the past couple years with the help of memberships that we sold for UFC, et cetera. We're not doing that this year, but that doesn't mean that the contributions stop. No, indeed, we'll match all the contributions from last year. This year, anyone interested in the mission can hit the link down below. You can see Kobe's got it flashing there. All the information on the San Xavier mission, the oldest mission in the United States, located just south of us, south of Tucson, Arizona, here in Arizona. Steve always lets me mention it, and I'm really flattered that we get to discuss that each
Absolutely.
week. So here we are, new year. What have you done for me lately? And we're ready to go.
Well, on that, it was interesting because when we were driving back from El Paso in New Mexico,
Oh, you
I
go
was
right
like, hey,
by
let's
it.
just stop. Well, you have to
It's
get
a
on
little
19
south
and
of you.
south. Yeah,
Yes,
it's like
right.
5 miles south on
Yes.
the 19. But yeah, no, we ran down there because my kids
Did
hadn't
you
been
really?
there. I haven't been there since I
Oh,
was
I'm
a
so
kid.
tickled that
So
you
they're
did.
redoing the facade in the
Yes.
front, so they have a giant thing on there, and the kids got to walk through it. My daughter was all taking pictures.
Oh,
and
it's
she loves
it-
that old architecture and everything.
It's really
so-
cool. And in the 1800s or so, they tried to refurbish it, and they didn't have the technology we do today, and they kind of gummed it up, for lack of a better word. And so now they're correcting everything. And one last thing I want to say: a couple times you mentioned that we get that there are listeners or viewers that tune in for this segment. I just have to say how flattered we are for that. I try and deliver poignant, straight, no nonsense opinions. You don't have to take them. You just have to maybe weigh them and see if they're worth your consideration or not. But I'm flattered that people from wherever listen in. The UFC's about to start up. My database is cleaned up. The modeling's done.
Ready to go?
I already have the first week's card all set up with opening lines.
And that's the 24th is the first UFC weekend, Paramount Plus. So that means Sneak Teep on the 19th,
Yes.
About Business on the 23rd,
Yes.
and free this
all
year.
available on the Gamblu webpage or wherever you get your podcast. Go to Apple, hit Gamblu, and you'll get each
Apple,
of the podcasts.
Google, Spotify, all
All
of
that
those out
stuff,
there. And of
yes.
course, follow him on Twitter. He posts that, he puts them out there, and all of that stuff. But yeah, no, it's funny because the only reason I thought about that mission was because of you. And so I was like, I haven't been there probably since I was in my teens.
Were your kids happy you
yeah.
did it? Were you happy you made
My
that
daughter,
hour stop?
we're not a
or whatever?
religious people in that from that side, and my daughter got a little bit uncomfortable in there with, because they just got done with the mass, and so people were in there praying and doing what you do in there. So at first she didn't know how to act or how to take pictures and stuff like that, but she loved the architecture and
Good
the
for
old
her.
paintings and stuff to that effect on the building and whatnot.
It's
So
just
it's
a
good to stop
phenomenal
for
job.
them to experience that culture.
Was there any
and everything.
activity outside,
they had
tables
the, they had all
and
that
fry
stuff.
bread and
Yeah.
stuff? I mean, there's a bazaar outside.
I mean, this was Saturday, so it was
Yeah.
January 3rd, so it was packed.
Oh, I mean, that when you get that life going there, and it's.
But
you
I mean,
know,
they need help. I mean, in the bathrooms, they're you could tell all their stuff's old in
Oh,
there.
yes.
And they do schools there and everything to that effect.
1694 or something when's this.
So even
thing
if you're not
built.
really, I mean, you can help out at just an old building if you're an old building person. And she was just commenting like some of the paintings on the top, like, man. And I was like, they weren't good painters and stuff back in the 1700s, 1800s. Like they struggle with some of that stuff.
Oh, of
Faces are all
course.
weird.
in Arizona in 2,000-degree heat with no air
Had to
conditioning.
talk to her about that, and stuff. But no, it's a fantastic. I love old architecture and things. We don't get that here. We generally raise all of our old buildings and build new ones on top of them.
Yeah.
And stuff to that effect. So those old buildings are great and everything. And I was disappointed they're redoing the front, but they have a nice cloth over it so it doesn't look like it's being remodeled, kind of hiding it. But I would like to have seen the front there. But I guess they're putting more color back into it and remodeling that side of it. So
It'll
it's
be
fantastic.
killer when done.
Fantastic place to stop if you're into old architecture and that stuff. So and I know so we thought about you, Lou, on the vacation. Look
Thank
at
you.
that.
That's awesome.
And then we were just going across New Mexico, and there's nothing to see in New Mexico, folks, when you drive. The kid's mom's dad was a truck driver, and he always used to say about New Mexico, used to always say, New Mexico is the state God forgot to finish. Because it's just nothing. So we're like halfway through New Mexico, and I go, hey, let's stop at that mission out south of Tucson.
Beautiful. Well, New Mexico, southern New Mexico and West Texas, very similar.
Yeah.
Not a lot to look at outside of rolling tumbleweed. But
Yeah.
North New Mexico, you get to Las
The
Vegas and Taos and some of those places up there. There's a holy staircase in one of those cities up there my folks have been to.
Well, with the mountains, right? Even
So there's
Albuquerque.
some to me, desert beauty. It kind of grows on you. If you come here from the Midwest, it takes a year and a half or two to forget about the seasons and understand how the desolate beauty of the desert really affects you. But it's a acquired taste.
We saw that in El Paso with the Duke fans that were there.
Oh yeah, I bet
Yeah,
they were
they were
"Ooh,
just like,
everything's
and,
brown.
everybody from Arizona is just like, whatever. It's El
Right.
Paso. This is just like Tucson, whatever. Who cares? And everybody in Duke's just like, oh my God, this is so amazing. It was kind of funny to see the differences, on that side of things. So let's get into it, Lou. With no UFC this week, you're prepping for that coming up here. I see on your blog, wealth of information. And like I said, regarding people that watch this show when you're on, I get a decent amount of feedback from people that don't even do sports gambling that love having you on because you give them something to talk about and look smart around the office and things to that
Hopefully.
effect. Yeah, it doesn't always work out, right?
Yeah.
But in your blog here, in the last 74 wildcard games, and you said this is from VSiN data from the early 2025, an outright winner covered the spread 86.3% of the time in these games here coming up.
That was
So-
before the modern twist where they reseed the last 2 years.
Okay.
And so, and I have to footnote Gil Alexander, a numbers game, the show on VSiN where I got this information years ago, and I substantiated with him before I published this that my numbers were correct. And so, really, the point of the blog is that listen, if the point spread doesn't come into effect 86, 85, 87% of the time, don't worry about the point spread. Pick the winner, and that's the title of the blog. Pick the winner.
Yes.
So who you think is going to win, pick the winner and ride with it, and you're probably going to be better off. So forget, oh boy, the Rams are giving too much. No, if you think the Rams are going to win the game, give the 10 and let them roll. We'll see how that works this year. I know that I've already released a tease position. I was going to come in and tell Steve that I only prepared DVOA for 1 or 2 games. Wanted to see him, jump.
Lou,
But
we
no,
have an hour to fill.
Yeah, I've got all the games set up here. I've got some strong opinions, and then I have some maybe not so strong
Well,
opinions.
that's funny, 'cause before Dale left, he goes, man, he'll have so much information on every one of these games. I go, we could probably do a 2-3 hour show with Lou today on
We
this
could if we had
to. So now there's Saturday games this weekend. We're just gonna roll through them. 2 on Saturday, 3 on Sunday here coming up, and then 1 on Monday as well. Which I don't know, man. Does the Monday game? Now this year it's Texans and Steelers. We'll talk about that. We'll do them in order. But does a Monday game in the playoffs kind of hard to handicap or look at it differently, kind of a deal, or does it not matter because it's a Monday night game?
I think it matters in that Monday night winner has to now turn around on a relatively short week and play somewhere for the fans to have a Monday night football game and us degenerate gamblers to bet on something. And so for that reason, I think it adds a little complexity into the divisional round. But if you look at it just as it stands, hey, Pittsburgh and Houston get 2 days extra rest over L.A., Carolina, Green Bay, and Chicago.
But I also think, and we'll talk about this when we get to the game, but I also think this screws Texans a little bit. Going from Houston to a cold weather to play on a Monday night, if they played on a Sunday afternoon, the weather's be maybe a little bit better.
Saturday, Chicago, Green Bay, the 6 p.m. game.
Snow.
Chargers, New England, Sunday, the p.m. game. And so Pittsburgh, the p.m. game.
Yeah.
Why does the NFL put these games in cold weather temperatures at night? I don't know, but I like that they do. Because in Green Bay and Chicago, again, if 8 days ago you're looking at 10-day weather forecast, you can see you're going to have serious wind in Chicago on that game.
I saw yesterday, and they're expecting a crap ton of snow, which I know you don't care about snow.
No,
you care about
the wind more.
Right?
And these two teams, they play outside, so it affects them less. But that wind could affect the total, and it hasn't yet. That total opened 46.
It's still 46?
45.5, and it's sitting at 45.5. And that, actually, I see a few 45s now. That's not surprising to me because only a few people are on these totals now. Come Saturday, I bet you we see that thing move when people start to realize and Twitter starts to put out, hey, it's windy in Green Bay. That'll create some overreaction, I think.
Yeah, I think I saw I saw it from someplace else, and then I think I did see one of the big places, it might have been a gambling site, to be honest with you, say that snow's expected this weekend for that game. So you're starting to see it kind of
what great TV
leak out there.
Cold playoff Chicago, Green Bay, divisional hatred.
And we're watching it from our houses in Phoenix, Arizona.
I wasn't going to say that because not a lot of people have. I mean, it's 55 degrees and kind of rainy here today, and it's cold. And how dare we say that when there's people in Boston watching us and it's it's a freezer.
Yeah, we do have a bunch of people watching us in Illinois, so we apologize for talking about that weather. Robert does say at TME Sports Show, he says, hopefully Gamblu doesn't do what Big Steve does and put one of your TVs in the hallway. That's an old bit.
So you can see from the bathroom or something?
No. I just had an extra TV.
Oh, we got a couple extra.
And so I just put it in. I just put it in my hallway, and then I didn't move it for a bunch of times. So it became a big joke on this show. That
very good, Robert.
Steve
I don't have a TV
Steve just puts
in the
TV
hallway.
in his hallway and leaves it there.
No, sir.
And now it's downstairs in the the bonus room.
Robert is very interactive, and he's a great supporter. And I love the guy. He's very interactive. I appreciate it.
With you being on the show, if you guys have anything, text us 623-252-6670 at TME Sports Show as well. And then, of course, when Lou's not on here, you'll get a faster response from him at Gamblu on X as well out there. So let's get into it, man. I'm excited for this weekend's games, to be honest with you, around the NFL. I thought the schedule lines up pretty well. Rams-Panthers, though, is the first game on Saturday, 2:30 p.m. our time here in Phoenix. Kickoff going into this game. Rams, last I checked, were big favorites, 10.5 right now as well. I don't.
FanDuel's got 10.5.
That's what I looked at.
DraftKings has 10.5. Circa's got 10. That tells you they're getting a little touch of Carolina
People
money.
liking Carolina,
I raise an eyebrow at that. Based on my DVOA, the Rams have their defense has regressed a touch in the last few weeks. I will say that. That said, they're the number 1 offense DVOA. They're the number 3 defense. And except for special teams where Carolina has the 20th ranked and the Rams 26th, so that's a little consideration. I just don't know how Carolina can compete in this game. The Rams just completely dominate every category. Plus 12 in the turnover ratio, and Carolina dead flat. 26th ranked Carolina offense. How are they going to score on that Ram defense? They must have a gadget play. They're going to have to try something. Let's also understand these teams played earlier in the year.
Just played a few weeks ago.
And Carolina beat them.
Came back and beat them.
So
Rams had that game won.
Boy, well, no, they didn't because they lost.
Well,
but
no, my point is they had a big lead.
Yes.
And Carolina came back and beat them.
And so to me, that's such an easy coaching job for McVay as well, the guys in the locker room. And so this is a game that I would say I think this thing looks to me like 24-10 Rams. It's maybe the game. There's maybe 2 games I'm not going to really have a strong opinion on. This might be one of them. Carolina has shown great mettle, and for them now to take the NFC South last to best is a great story, but I just don't know how they can take it that step further against a good Rams team.
That's the thing. The team they're playing is the problem, right? They're 8-9 into the playoffs, which you make it and stuff like that. Over under 46.5 coming into this game. Like I agree with you. I think the Panthers are going to struggle to score on this. So you would have to go on that, but you just gave a score of like 24-10 type of a time frame, which would lead you to the under in this game. I think this has a potential to be a giant blowout to start the playoff season here coming up, and just snowballing on the Panthers in the 3rd and the 4th. And I don't think the Rams are going to kind of let off because of the way the Panthers came back. That's ultimately what meant the Rams couldn't play for the NFC West Championship or whatever was that bad loss that they had in Carolina. So I think there might be some payback in line coming up here.
I really could not agree more with all of what you just said, and I hate to agree with everything.
I know. I apologize. First of all, I apologize for that.
Pardon me.
I must have taken some medicine and made me smart overnight or something.
Again, pick the winner, and if I like the Rams, then I'm going to give the 10.5, or I'm going to shop. I can't get to circa, so I can't get that 10. You want to play the teaser game and such, maybe so. I do have a teaser this week that I released earlier in the week. It's not quite there for everybody today, but I'll be happy to discuss it when we get there.
Yeah, no worries. And minus 670 on the money line for the Rams as well. So there's not really, like you said, unless you like the 10.5 or more, there's really not a play on this game. Where it makes money sense, just straight up on that side. Packers Bears are the second game here on Saturday. The 9-7-1 Packers. I believe Matt LaFleur's job's on the line with this game. Just have a gut feeling on this coming up. No specific reason why. Then you got the Bears at 11-6. First playoff game for a new coach, new head coach. He's been there before with the Lions, of course, but new head coach. Players coming into this is the first time on this side. I am worried about the Bears coming into this deal. The good news for me, though, division rivalry. Late game, weather's going to kind of slow down the Packers a little bit more from that perspective in this one. And so what do you say on this game here with the Bears-Packers?
Yeah, first note, 18 to 30 mile an hour wind. Wind is what I really try and get a feel on. Green Bay special teams, 22nd, nothing to write home about. Chicago's 18th. The story with Chicago is 33 takeaways this year. So their net ratio plus 22 overwhelms everybody. The closest one to them is the Jags. And so if the Bears win the turnover margin, I think this is a Bear game. That said, I view Green Bay as the more complete team. I think their offense is more solid, at least by the numbers. That's the 3rd-ranked DVOA offense going to go against the 24th-ranked DVOA defense. So let's say there are no turnovers in the game. I have to give Green Bay an edge, even though they're on the road. That number hasn't changed much. Opened 1 for Chicago. Now we're seeing some 1.5s, a little good. People like the hometown team.
You said 1 for Chicago is where it opened? 'Cause
That's
Well,
correct.
FanDuel's 1.5 for Green Bay right now. As Lou's
That-
looking at Lou's
That
staring.
line opened 1 Chicago,
Yeah.
and everywhere has Green Bay 1 or 1.5. I tend to agree
That's a
with
big
the
flip.
move. That's 2.5 points. I tend to agree with that movement. What I also find interesting is the total at 45.5 hasn't moved much, so we're still a little ahead of the weather situation. That said, I haven't used that under because I'm a little wary that I haven't seen wise guys move that number a
on it.
little bit early. So I'm watching. The fact that there's some population on Green Bay is concerning, but at this time of year, I'm not worried where the masses are or aren't. It's time to pick winners. I've been trying to just isolate these kinds of games for 2 weeks and get ready for them.
Does the public play earlier in the week for
No.
the playoffs? So it's the same thing. They
No,
won't get
they're-
into it until
they're-
Saturday morning.
All the public cares about tonight is Miami and Mississippi. And so they'll hit these 2 games and then roll into Saturday is how that works. And so that's why the 45 not moving is a little concerning to me. All that being said, I've just not given Chicago as much credit as they've earned this year. It could be my blind spot. I think Green Bay is the more complete team. 3rd ranked offense, 17th ranked defense. Chicago, 10th ranked offense, 24th ranked defense. That's what scares me. That said, the Chicago rush game, 4th ranked in the NFL, will go up against the 20th ranked Green Bay rush defense. So if Chicago can come out, maybe get the ball, possess it, go down and throw points up and pucker Green Bay a little bit, I think they could be in a good position. Let's not forget, Chicago believes. They've won all these games this year late in the 4th quarter and late in games. And so there's a little bit of that with the turnovers, and that's what scares me about this game a little bit. This is maybe one of the games I had the least strong opinion on.
Really?
Yes. I lean to Green Bay here.
Yeah,
But
I know you focus on the win, but both of these teams can run the football and power some stuff.
And if they do, I think they eat that clock and
Yeah.
the thing looks ugly.
That's what I'm worried about. It's just an ugly win here coming up. That 45 under, I think it'll just be under just because of the weather side of it going into it. But I agree with you. Green Bay, you're stronger on Green Bay than I am. There's just something missing with them this year. Now they got Trey Diggs there now to kind of help out that defense. Well, I don't know how well he's going to play this weekend and things to that effect. But this is one of those games where you look at it and you're just like, I don't know, toss a coin kind of a deal. And I think Vegas. See, I'm surprised it went from a favorite of 1 point to the Bears to 1.5 on the Packers, though, on the road.
I will say Aaron Schatz, who is the proprietor of DVOA, he's been on the VSiN network earlier in the week. He has mentioned that Chicago's possibly as weak a team to make the playoffs via DVOA as he's ever recorded.
Mm-hmm.
And I find some merit in that. I could
No,
have a blind spot on him, but
No, I do agree with you, though, that the Bears win. Bears win because of turnovers, and if they don't get turnovers, I think it's an uphill battle for them. I do agree.
Yeah.
You kind of pointed that out earlier this year, and I do kind of fault them on that.
Yeah, but
they need 2 or 3 turnovers.
two
in this
turnovers for the Bears and none for Green Bay, and all bets are off.
game. It's gonna be a fun one. Those are the Saturday games here coming up. And like I said, watching that with the snow falling from Arizona is going to be fun.
Yes, and so when we talked about Rams in Carolina, I failed to disclose my teaser, and I said that I wasn't that high on the game, and I must have fudged because the teaser that I gave this week at VSiN, it was released as soon as these numbers were out Monday morning, or as soon as Monday morning came around. So I took the Rams at that point. They were 10. This is a 3-team, 10-point teaser. You got to pay $1. You got to pay $12 to win $10. Okay. Some shops you might have to pay $13 to win 10. Fine. If you're going to give me 10 points on an NFL game to manipulate it, I think I can have some fun, even though I have to hit all 3 legs. And what's perfect about the wild card is I can stage the levels, meaning one game Saturday, one game Sunday, another game Sunday night or Monday. And so first game is Rams pick. So at the time, the number was 10. So give me the Rams just to win that game as leg one of the 3-team 10-point teaser. And as we get into these other games, I'll disclose the second and third leg.
So now you would get him at half of a point.
Now you'd
0.5
be
on
given a
FanDuel.
half a point. Same thing. You got to just win the game.
Yeah,
Rams ain't
doesn't
going
matter.
there to tie. There is no ties.
That's what I was gonna say. If they're winning, you're gonna win that bet at 0.5,
Yes,
right?
sir.
Regardless as we go. So that leads us into the Sunday games as well. I think we got a doozy of one here coming up Sunday morning at 11 a.m. And that's Bills going down to Jacksonville. There for them, 12-5 Bills, 13-4 Jaguars. Same kind of a situation. New head coach down there with Liam Cohen going into this game. A lot of the Jags players, first times in the playoffs, Trevor Lawrence and those guys getting back into the playoffs. And then you get the Bills, that same problem I got. I've talked a lot this week about Sean McDermott, where he's been with that team for 9 years. It hasn't gotten over that hump at all. The pressure's on him without Kansas City and the teams he struggled with in the playoffs before, being in these playoffs here. But I am worried about the Bills coming to this game, Lou. Tell me about your thoughts.
This might be the best position, I think, of the playoffs. If you look at the coaching advantage, it's surely McDermott. If you look at the frustration level, it's McDermott. Hey, they've been there before, and they've come up short. Hey, what was that? 12, 15, 18 seconds in Kansas City, and Mahomes beat them?
Yeah.
Hey, there's no Mahomes this year. There's no Lamar this year. There's no excuses for Buffalo. I got the coaching advantage solidly on Buffalo. I have a quarterback advantage that I believe is solidly placed with Buffalo. You have a team that is not at home. They're not the hunted. In fact, they're the hunting. And, excuse me, no one's given them any love, most except for the square joints, FanDuel and DraftKings. Buffalo's still 1.5, but all the other places in Vegas and such, that game's a pick because they've seen some Jacksonville action. There's a lot of Jacksonville talk out in the marketplace, but that's a team that's young with a rookie head coach. Yeah, they're at home, but I love this position for Buffalo. I really do. I think the Buffalo team is going to have to figure out a way to get that lead because the Jacksonville offense, I don't know, is going to really be able to take advantage of the weakness of the underbelly of that soft Buffalo rush defense because the Jags only run the ball with the 20th best DVOA in football. Sure, their defense is good, but you got Josh Allen over here. Turnover ratio favors the Jags. And again,
It's
in
a big
any one of
difference.
these games, whoever wins the turnover ratio is probably going to win the game. If I could somehow bottle an elixir and take a drink before the games to know who was going to have the turnover advantage, man, I'd be hitting a lot higher percentages than I hit this year. But at the end of the day, I think this is manicured perfectly for Buffalo. And I look for Buffalo to be a real threat in the AFC, let alone this week.
Really? You're high on Buffalo.
No one else is. It's
I
it's
agree with you.
everybody. And remember Socrates. You want to be wrong, follow the masses. You watch. If you like Buffalo, sit back. Because I think even at FanDuel and DraftKings, at DraftKings and FanDuel, you're going to get closer to 0 when that games. Don't go giving that 1.5 just yet.
Oh, so wait on that. Well, let me ask you this. Right now it's on FanDuel, at least it's plus 1.5 for Jaguars. It's minus 120. Doesn't that tell you it's closer to going to 2 than it is going to?
Holy
one.
moly, Steve! No more coaching you on that.
I know, right? I don't know.
What does
last night.
What does that mean? That means that maybe smaller bettors and more recreational bettors that use those websites are looking at Buffalo. And should that affect me? It might in week 10 of the NFL season because I don't want to go that way. But I'm looking to pick a winner. And I love the me against the world that Buffalo has. I love teams that can't get it done. I love when they say Sam Darnold, he always chokes in the playoffs. Those
like I did last
competitors
week.
don't curl up and go home. If they would and did, they would have been gone home by now. No, they're going to try and kick the door in and fulfill their dream, and that's what every Buffalo player is trying to do, especially now. No Lamar and no Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, and that the pressure's on Buffalo.
I don't see pressure on Buffalo.
kinda
I
worry
see
me a
pressure
little
on a rookie coach
Well,
and a
that's the
rookie
problem.
team at home. And let's not remember Jacksonville's last playoff game at home. At half, they were down 31-0. Yeah,
was a
they
lot.
came back and won. But if they get down 10-0, 14-7 or something against this Buffalo team, I think it's going to be difficult.
I also think with the young coach, with this team not playoff savvy like Buffalo is, I think playing at home actually might hurt them. Do you have any thoughts on that at all? You're going to have the pressure of the crowd on you to perform well, to beat the Bills at home, and things to that effect. Does that go into your thinking at all?
It does, and I use it in hockey all the time. Aunt Schruzzle wants tickets to the game, and
Yes.
and you got people coming in. You got to find a hotel room for them, and there's distractions when you're at home. I don't think that's going to weigh heavily on him because that coach is no dummy. He's going to try and sequester them and prepare them accordingly. But you can't get rid of the white noise that's around. You go to the grocery store, hey, Trevor, good luck on this and
the
that.
town's going nuts for them being in the
Good for
playoffs and
them,
winning
too.
that division and stuff. So they're literally in that. And sometimes I think it's better to get away from that if you're a young team going into someplace
And the
else, so.
population is so doubtful on Buffalo. That's what I love. In
You're right
that
on
locker room, they're not doubtful, but everyone outside of it is.
You're absolutely right on that. Let's take our break here, and then we come on back. We still have 49ers-Eagles as the second game on Sunday. Chargers-Patriots on Sunday night, and then Monday night, Texans-Steelers as well. Let's come on back, folks. The main event with Uncle Lou. And we're back here with Uncle Lou, of course. We were just talking off air there, just Buffalo and the Packers give me enough indigestion watching them play this year with their quirks that, I'm a little weary on them. But I do like you going out there because, like you said, everybody's on the Jaguars out there, and I'm leaning Jaguars right now, but I could see me flipping to the Bills getting closer to Sunday morning coming up. But another good one that's coming up on Sunday, Lou, 2:30 p.m. on Sunday, the 12-5 49ers and 11-6 Eagles battling it out in Philadelphia.
I mean, this kid, Shanahan, coach in San Francisco, is as sharp as they come. I regard him as a top 3 coach in the NFL. I have for a long time. He's never exemplified that position more than this year because they've been an absolutely decimated team with injuries. And now on the horizon, if they can win a game or two, here comes Fred Warner. However, if you watched that game last week with Seattle, and I was here touting Seattle on that game, you saw before the game started Shanahan saying this is the most important game for us because they wanted to get that bye and have home field at home all the way maybe to the Super Bowl. And they used all their resources in a physical, beautiful playoff-style game. And now they got to regroup, pack up, and go to Philly in some weather,
Yeah.
I think it's a really, really tough ask. This number opens Philly 3.5 and 45, jumped right to 4.5. And I agree with that. In fact, when it was 3.5 Monday, we used the second leg of the 10-point teaser to Philly, moving him to plus 6.5. That's a huge move because of the key number of 6. 5.5 now is, better than 3, but it's not 6.5. So I don't know if I can really, I'm going to leave it to you if you want to do that. It doesn't hurt to subscribe to VSiN where these releases come out, and I'm not necessarily plugging them, but what I'm saying is that number's different now that Philly's gone to 4.5, and I still think that San Francisco's got a coaching advantage. I think the quarterback advantage is none. I think it's even. I like Purdy. Fred Warner coming back. He's not coming for the Philly game. So when I look now at DVOA, I see the second-ranked San Francisco offense. That could get on track. But Philly's D is their strength, 6th-ranked D. That could be a little bit of a stalemate. Philly's 17th-ranked offense against the 26th-ranked San Francisco defense is something. Now, can Philly, who's been constipated on offense all year long, score against San Francisco?
Especially lately.
And Seattle, a decent offense in their own right, played 13 points.
Yeah.
So San Francisco and Salah's got scheme, but they're on the road after what they went through last week. I think it's a tough ask. If I'm looking at this game, this is absolutely a pass because I don't think I can take San Fran and the points based on the pick the winner theory. But, boy, I hate giving 3.5, 4.5 points when I'm holding Philly because I just don't know that Philly's shown me all that all year long.
That they can do it. Well, so you're, if I'm hearing you properly here, because I was going to ask you about this because I agree with you. I think last week's loss, I know, this is scary. Last week's loss to the Seahawks, I think it's a monumental task for Shanahan and his coaching staff to get this team to not think they failed last week going into this game. Like, oh, man, we could have had a bye. Now, like you said, we got to go to Philadelphia where there is I saw snow. I don't know about when. And it's just we could have had this, and now we're going here. Yes, it's the playoffs, players. But there could be a hangover is what I'm getting at for San Francisco going to this game.
Yeah, I agree with that, but I may word it different, but I think it's a tough task for San Francisco to now get on the road and
like
roll
I said,
out. And
the Eagles scare me to death. The Eagles might only score 7 points in this game, and they might have 4 turnovers and stuff to that effect.
If they score 34 and blow San Fran out, then all of a sudden Philly's going to get a lot of gust.
Well, absolutely. It's going to be fascinating. Plus, being at home, if the Eagles don't come out and perform well at the beginning, that crowd's going to turn on.
Oh, baby, are they? That'll be fun to watch just for the crowd. You might see snowballs coming down on the Philly team.
Well, you might see Sirianni just fighting the crowd members at halftime.
San Francisco, 24th ranked rush defense. I would say if you're a fantasy guy, use Barkley. If you want to play props on players, I rarely do. I would go over on some Barkley stuff because I think this is going to be a Saquon Barkley game.
That type of a game, perfect for that game. It's just funny, these matchups on paper. You're like, oh, this is going to be great, and then as you delve into it, right? You got Chargers-Patriots in this game. Kind of the same situation. You have Vrabel, who's a successful head coach, but doesn't have a lot of coaching in the playoffs underneath his belt. And you got Jim Harbaugh, who's just wins everywhere he goes, tough as nails team coming into it. You got a young quarterback with the Patriots, and a younger team with the Patriots as well. I don't know, with Vrabel on there, I'm less worried about their playoff performance than I am like the Jaguars being the first time in there with their head coach and stuff to that effect into this. But tell me in this game here, Chargers going to the cold of New England this weekend against the Patriots.
Yeah, New England 3.5, 45.5. That's ticked up to 46.5. Interestingly, because I look for the strength of the Chargers, surely to be their defense, and New England's offense. The strength is not the run game; they can't run up the stairs, but they've been passing. And Drake May likes the long ball. Well, what does Harbaugh do? He plays zone defense. He's going to make it so difficult on them to try and complete long passes. He's going to make them matriculate the ball down the field. Thank you, Mr. Hank Stram. I like the Chargers in this game. I think that New England is there for a reason. They won the games on their schedule. I just don't know if they're as complete a team. And quite honestly, their 21st ranked rush defense, that's not going to cut it against a Charger team whose weakness is the offensive line. They're all dinged up. So I think that lack of ability to expose the Chargers where their week is going to favor the Chargers. And now I'm going to get the Chargers at 3.5 points with a good defensive team. I'll call the coaching a push, but I'll call the quarterback for Herbert. And so I think I like this might be a straight play for me. Chargers just taking 3.5, and I don't see a lot of movement again on the side. And we're not going to see huge movements on these games in the playoffs anymore. These guys, these bookmakers, are going to set the line and hold to them because they don't want to get middled or outdone. So
that's where they're looking to make money or not lose a ton of money.
That's right. And years ago we talk about the Dallas-Pittsburgh game where they went from 4.5 to 6.5, game ends 5, and they lose both ways. That's what they're trying to protect themselves here. And this is a game where I think the Chargers are built to be able to go up into that weather, and it's going to be cold, just not a ton of wind. I think there's a good story for the Chargers here.
Yeah, the Chargers to me they're built tough. They're built in that Jim Harbaugh. So the cold isn't going to scare them. They're not that soft, warm weather team. They can go in there and do it. The other thing on the Patriots that's an interesting side note that us fans pay attention to, Patriots only beat one team this year with a winning record. With all of their wins, they beat everybody on their schedule. So I'm not knocking them for that. But they weren't necessarily, molded by fire, going into this. In a playoff atmosphere against a Jim Harbaugh's team, it's going to get physical. It's going to get tight down in there. And I'm not sure if the Patriots have been tested enough this year. So this is the first time you get kind of hit in the mouth and tested in this environment. It does worry me a little bit on the Patriots. But that's why I'm surprised it's a 3.5 point favorite for the Patriots going into this game with all that other stuff. That just seems like too big of a number. Even if the Patriots can win this game, that seems like too big of a number.
Yeah, a pro team's a pro team. All they can do is play who's on their schedule. Beginning of the year, nobody was giving the Patriots any kind of run, even though their season total was 8.5. Everybody's like, how are they getting to 8? Well, they totally exceeded that. I wouldn't count out Vrabel. I think they have the future quarterback there. Is Stephon Diggs, a guy that I think's a cancer to a team after a couple years. This is his second year or first year there, so he's showing some leadership.
But now they got the legal problems. I know, but that with Diggs and then that other player. Now they have legal problems they're dealing with.
Well, I'm just saying, I want to give the Patriots their due. I just think this is a tough matchup for them, and I think the weather enhances the Chargers' opportunity.
I think it helps the Chargers out because then you know what's coming. Just a hard-nosed, physical slugfest.
Especially with an umbrella defense that's not going to let Drake May throw deep on them.
Perfect. So that's the Sunday night game, 6 p.m. You said no wind there. It's just going to be cold?
No, there'll be some wind there. I mean, again, that whole Northeast, Philly's going to have a little wind, Chicago. Yeah. And there'll be some wind. But when it's 10, 12, 14, it isn't as concerning. When it's 15, 18, gusts to 30, now I take note.
That's why I was asking, because the Patriots live and die by throwing the ball downfield. So if those balls get a little wobbly with the wind patterns and something to that effect,
exactly,
obviously it's going to affect it even more on that. And then we go to Monday night. And like I said, I'm not a big fan of Monday Night Football in the playoffs. Works out this week, I guess, because you get a couple extra days. But I'm also not a fan of the Houston Texans going to the Steelers this weekend either. However, the Texans defense is an amazing defense to watch. So in the Steelers offense, they get DK back this week, Lou. So how does that change the game as all going into this Monday night game?
Well, what I have here is I got low total written in my notes. Houston plus 17 turnover, Pittsburgh plus 11. So again, turnovers are going to come in here. Will the 16th ranked Pittsburgh offense be able to do anything against that Houston defense? What Pittsburgh can do and what they're devoted to doing lately is running the ball with the 6th best offensive rushing attack, but they're going against the 2nd ranked rush defense in Houston. And then now you look at Pittsburgh's defense, which was porous, shoddy and embarrassing for 8-10 games of the regular season has completely come around. Tomlin's done an amazing job with this defense, in my opinion. They now have the 8th best rushing defense. And so what is Houston going to do to try and score points? I think they're going to really, really struggle. 29th ranked rushing offense. They really can't rush the ball. 15th ranked pass offense against the 11th ranked Pittsburgh defense. This is old-time, cold-weather, slobber knocker, low-scoring football. And, oh, by the way, the third leg of our 3-team 10-point teaser took 39 to 49.5, and we went under. So, in review, Rams pick, Eagles plus 6.5, Pittsburgh, Houston under 49.5. That's the 3-team 10-point teaser that I used on Monday. It's out there for everybody to watch. If I win it, hurrah, I'll forget to talk about it next week. If I lose it, of course we're not going to talk about it. No, we'll talk about it.
So the only one that's not in play at the numbers you got is that Eagles game.
That's correct.
Now it would change to, what, 7.5?
It would change to 5.5.
5.5,
So you'd be getting the Eagles at home plus 5.5. And again, I think the handicap still works. San Fran on the road after a huge emotional game, loss, division, physical. I think Philly moves on.
And then in terms of this Monday night game, well, I have a feeling the Steelers are going to have a hard time scoring, like you said. In this could be like a 7-6 type ball game going into here, which means it'll be a 42-40 type ball
without
game.
question. Now, though, I will say the Steelers get the bad egg back, their receiver Metcalf. That's huge because they were totally walking with a red-tipped cane for the last 2 weeks without that kid.
They had nobody to throw to in that Baltimore game. It was ugly to watch.
It's difficult. Now, Valdez-Scantling pulled some weight, but really he's a great number 2. So you put Metcalf in there. Valdez-Scantling can really contribute. Rodgers likes him. I think we're going to see a little bit more fluid Pittsburgh offense. We'll see what Metcalf can add to that mix.
Yeah, it's going to be, and he's going to come out motivated. The question is he going to get in there? Plus, I see something different in Aaron Rodgers here these last few weeks. Like, he knows his career's about to wrap up. It's like that last gasp of somebody that knows his career's almost over, and he wants to go out in the best way. Now, I wouldn't be shocked if he does some things here to get this win, especially late here against the Texans if it's a close game going into this. But that Texans defense, I think is the best thing.
I think I might be shocked if he retires. I think he likes it in Pittsburgh. He's
already floating that out there.
Yeah. Especially if they win this game. If they win with Tomlin after Tomlin's had some trouble in the playoffs back, after all this. I mean, the guy's a competitor. He can do everything he's always done except run, and they highlighted that in the last game.
He tried to run, he tried to get outside, and he ended up getting caught.
For a 40-year-old guy, I mean, you show me a guy running from an NFL linebacker, I'll show you a guy running his absolute fastest.
It was hilarious watching it because they were like, "Hey, Aaron Rodgers 10 years ago was getting that first down."
He turns that corner and he's down the sideline.
And they're like, in this one, they're like, he's lucky to get halfway to the sideline.
Hey, but with all that being said,
I could relate to that, Lou.
He hasn't gone backwards here.
No.
In fact, if anything, he's more fluid.
Did you see that video? I don't remember what receiver it was that obviously didn't know the play and went into motion, and he stops his cadence and he goes, "What the F are you doing?"
Yeah. That was a tight end, I think.
Yeah, and it was just, I was like, okay, this guy still commands an offense.
Then he does this,
And then he still commands an offense and knows it better than his players do. And like you said, mentally he's sharp. It's just the physical side. And he didn't get beat up this year. Players that tend to, if he got beat up again this year, I think he's definitely retiring.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, these players' skill positions are at his house.
Yeah.
And they eat dinner together and eat popcorn and look at film. And so he hasn't lost his zeal for winning. He wants to win. I think he's got all the capabilities of winning. We'll have to see how it goes.
That's why I'm kind of interested in seeing that side. Now, my question on this is looking ahead a little bit as we wrap up here with Uncle Lou this week. Denver, Seattle have the buys going into this.
Yep.
We lament in the college football side. I've talked about it a lot, the way they do their playoffs. The teams that have the month off. Now, they're not getting a month off. I get it. The teams that have the bye in the first round of these college football playoffs last couple of weeks just don't win when they go to play again. And the teams that did play a couple of weeks before come in more fired up. In the playoffs and the pros, I think it's more even on how they come in and play. Are you worried about Denver or Seattle at all with this bye week getting healthy and
Not
everything?
in the slightest. In the NFL, after 18 weeks of physical football, the team that gets 1 week off is at a huge advantage. In college football, after however many weeks they
it's a
play, to
month,
give them 3 or 4 weeks off,
Yeah.
that's different. Where's
Yeah.
your legs? Where's your game action? We saw it in the results outside of Indiana, I guess. And so I look for Buffalo, Denver in the AFC final game, and I look for Seattle and somebody in the NFC final game. But ultimately, my Super Bowl is Seattle and Buffalo.
Really? So you are high on those Buffalo Bills.
I think it's if you remember a few years ago, it was maybe 2 years ago, the Chiefs went into the playoffs. And their last game was against the Raiders. The Raiders went into Kansas City and beat them with Pierce as the head coach. And it was a huge, huge shocker. Now everybody's low on Kansas City. And so they had to do it the hard way on the road. I think that
was the first year that they hadn't had home games.
Us against the world is a good thing in football. And I think Buffalo's got a little of that,
All
Steve.
right. That sounds good. So the reason why I'm not worried about Denver and Seattle on this is just their defenses, the two best. If they're not the two best defenses in the league, they're top two of them. And a defensive team doesn't lose it after a week. The offense might get off a kilter and not be able to score as much, but the defenses are what are going to lead those guys to wherever they
people
go.
are going to tell you, well, Knicks on Denver, they're not convinced. Well, I mean, what more you need to see? Sean Payton just won 14 friggin' games. Come on, man. And this Darnold, I've been saying it all year. When you got a guy like Darnold, he's not afraid. He's wanting to kick the door in and get his ring.
Last week, you
really
made fun of
like
me because I brought up that narrative of last year with Sam Darnold, and
I don't
and
regard
everything.
it as anything but folly. He fell
proved it
short.
right. Yeah.
A lot of guys fall short. Peyton Manning fell short. He was getting that dialogue till he won the Super Bowl. Now, Darnold wins the Super Bowl, everybody going to throw rose petals at his feet, and they're going to be fans all of a sudden. I'm telling you, this kid Darnold looking to kick the door in.
It's interesting to see. So that's the NFL stuff out there. As we wrap up today with you, Lou, UFC is still a few weeks out here. It's interesting to me, just from the UFC side, I wanted to bring this up to you. I've been seeing articles lately in local papers and local websites and, bona fide media outlets talking about the MMA and why we get so many labs here, right? You got Fight Ready in Scottsdale, MMA Lab, which you're very familiar with up there in North Phoenix. There's one in Tempe now to get these kids ready for MMA and stuff like that. You follow this and everything. I mean, you're seeing an explosion of gyms forming here for MMA and stuff to that effect. People wanting to move here in terms of fighters. To come up on that side and everything. Are you seeing that growth? You're intimate with the UFC. I've been reading articles about it lately. Are you seeing that growth here in the Valley with not just the fans becoming more intimate with MMA, but even more people in labs and people wanting to be here?
Yeah, Bader's gym in Tempe's always been there.
Yeah.
So has Lab, and the newer one is Fight Ready. And there's others. There's one in Tucson as well. And so really what I would say is I'm tickled at the growth of not only MMA in Phoenix, but it's not just Phoenix. It's everywhere.
It's everywhere.
You go to China and Mexico, it's like, fire in a dry grass field. MMA, mixed martial arts, is exploding worldwide. When you get to the UFC, the complications that become, especially this year, you can see Gaethje again, the first pay-per-view, Gaethje against Paddy Pimblett.
Well, it's not pay-per-view anymore.
That's right. UFC 324, excuse me.
Not pay-per-view. That's why I got to keep saying it because you
Where's
can watch
Sarukian?
it, guys. Yeah.
Where's Sarukian? Sarukian is definitely, I believe he's the best in the division. I believe if he fights Topuria, he beats Topuria. But the UFC don't want leg huggers. They don't want to see you wrestle. The Umar Nurmagomedovs, those guys are going to start to get discriminated against in the judging and the way that the UFC puts matchmaking together. They want to kill it with Paramount, and they want guys in there slugging and winging. They got Jan and Dvalishvili, and Dvalishvili stood up too much with Jan and was beaten. Why? Because he knows he can't just get on top and hold him down. So as I approach UFC betting this year, I'm going to surely be aware of not only the matchmakers and who they put together, but who they may want to move on. I'll leave it at that.
You and that's it's just disappointing to hear. It's not because it sounds like you're saying they're fixing it. They're not, but they are. That makes
That's
sense.
not what I said.
No, but that's what I'm saying. It sounds like you're saying.
Well,
but because they're saying,
I'm trying to talk out of both sides
yeah,
of my mouth.
I know. That's why I'm trying to explain it like both sides of your mouth. But like in this fight, right? Sean O'Malley, who's a local fighter, you thought he would maybe hang it up after his last fight. It's going to be in this first fight here coming up against Song Yadong.
Yeah,
they're coming up.
That's good on
side.
that card. That's going to be a great fight. What's that? I would tell you, O'Malley's a decent price. He's gone up a little bit since the start.
Yeah.
O'Malley,
Well, that's what I was just going to ask you. With this fight,
he's gone down. O'Malley opened
Oh,
300. Now he's -1. Now he's -190.
the money's going on the China.
Yeah, I'd
China
sit
guy.
back and wait because this fight's got a mismatch in it. And Yadong stronger? Yeah. Can Yadong wrestle better than O'Malley? Maybe. O'Malley's wrestling and jiu-jitsu is very underrated. Nobody's seen it, but he works on it. But at the end of the day, this fight's going to be determined by the feet, and Yadong don't have them, and O'Malley does.
Yeah, that's one thing O'Malley's known for is that. But yeah, just looking at this card, this is an amazing first fight coming up. Like you said, probably because it's Paramount. They want a big number when it comes to Paramount. They want everybody tuning. If you're watching any of those football games, all you're seeing, especially on CBS, all you're seeing is UFC and Paramount.
So you're going to see a
coming up
UFC card on Saturday night, and you're going to go right to the NFC, AFC championships on
the
Sunday.
next
Wow,
morning.
what a
Yeah.
great weekend that'll be.
So yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. How do you get ready for a fight? Now, I'm not going to say that the fighters, we'll wrap up with this, but I'm not saying the fighters aren't preparing, and things to that effect. But, so it's not like it's the first fight of the year. They're going to come out, whatever, and, lose because they're just preparing the way they do and things to that effect. But there might be more theatrics with this being on Paramount for the first time, and more, I'm going to say distractions, but, when they come out, they have to stand around longer between it and stuff to that effect. Do you worry about any of that stuff during your handicaps?
If anything, I worry that that on this first card, the fighters are now aware that what the UFC wants. They want slugging, action, blood, and violence. And who do they put in the first fight? Gaethje. Well, Patty's going to try and wrestle Gaethje up because that's his advantage. The issue is that Gaethje, kid out of Stafford, Arizona here, is a pretty damn good wrestler. He's been working on it. He's ready. If he can keep this fight standing, he's looking to upset Patty and fight for the title. And I believe he's been not assured, but I think he's encouraged that if he gets by Patty, he can get the next title shot.
The opening thing on UFC, if you pull up UFC.com right now, the baddie is back. Relive Paddy Pimblett's meteoric rise of the first title opportunity on
and
January
Patty
24th.
hasn't earned the position.
No, it's
Patty's
been disappointing.
But he's got people that follow him. He's from England.
He's very big.
And he talks. He's got the accent, and so there's going to be more eyeballs on that fight than if Sarukian was involved with one of the two.
I get it.
And that's why the UFC made it that way. I'm going to take. I'm an old dude. And I remember the back days of boxing when boxing started to change a little bit. That's exactly what's happening here. And I've seen it one time before. I'd like to think I'll be well prepared for it.
Yeah, okay. Interesting take there. I mean, this card's just going to be fantastic. Even on the women's side, Rose is back out there fighting in this fight.
Huge underdog.
Amanda Nunes. Really, is she?
Huge. Now,
Really?
Nunez is fighting Harrison
yeah.
and Nunez is a dog. It's going to be a great, it'll be great.
You got Derek Lewis coming back. He's just a big
And he's a dog.
dude. Yeah, he's a big, mean guy.
Yeah.
In that heavyweight bout against Cortez Acosta, who we've seen here as well. See, Lou, I recognize. I pulled up this fight card last night getting
In
ready
a couple
for
of years,
and I was like,
we've taken Steve in a couple of years
I'm gonna
from
have
a
you-
guy that knew a little that UFC fighters fought, didn't really watch it. Now we got a little bit of a
and
fan.
I'm excited because this is the ironic thing, Dana. I'm just going to give Dana some information as we go off air. This is what I would have bought.
Yeah,
For
now you don't
$80.
have to.
Now I'm just paying whatever it is, $10.99 or
How
whatever
great is
the
that?
heck
And
Paramount charges
unfortunately,
me.
the guys in Canada don't get Paramount. They still got to pay for
Oh,
paper.
do they? That's terrible.
It's a shame.
Lou, appreciate you coming in this Thursday. Back on our regular schedule. Go get your stuff done, and we'll see you next Thursday. Of course, getting closer to the UFC. We'll have divisional round there of the NFL to talk about as well, and get an idea of who performs in the playoffs and who doesn't here this weekend. Looking forward to it. For everybody else, we'll be back tomorrow, 8 o'clock as well. McCollum on Business comes up at 11, folks. Come and join me there as well. We'll see y'all later, everybody. Have a good one.